Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another video. And as you may know, E3 2021 is pretty much over. Tomorrow I know Xbox is doing some developer talk, and there's a possibility they might show some Hellblade 2. But when it comes to the conferences and the showcases and all the streams and stuff, it's pretty much over. Sony might show something in the next few weeks, and of course EA skipped E3 and is doing their own thing next month. I don't know why, but they are. Maybe they have nothing to show and they don't want to be embarrassed. Which, hey, as we're about to talk about, they should have just did it, because we'll get to it. Or maybe they have some really good stuff. Maybe they're polishing everything up to really make it presentable. um, it's a little weird too, because it's like at the end of July, and don't they release their sports games around like August, September? So, and they haven't announced Madden 2022 yet, right? Maybe they have. I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but I haven't seen any like videos about it posted anywhere, and I usually see those. But I thought I might as well give you my quick thoughts on E3 2021. I'm going to not only grade each conference that I watched, showcase, I should say. None of them are really conferences. Showcases. I'm going to grade each one I've watched. I'm also going to give you my top 10 games I saw at E3. They had to be games that they showed at E3. It can't be games that I already knew about, that they didn't really show at E3. They had to have been shown at something. Either it's an indie showcase, either it's Capcom's whatever the hell that was, even Bandai Namco's Dark Pictures thing that they did. It doesn't matter. As long as it was shown at E3, it counts. If it's a thing that wasn't shown at E3 but is coming, then I'm not going to count it, because it has to be at E3. So these are my top 10 games of E3. But before we get that, I just want to do a quick roundup of all the conferences and my thoughts on them. These are going to be really quick, because we're going to do a podcast tomorrow, Blue Rupees podcast, of course, which will be streamed live around 9:30, probably a little bit later, probably like 9:30, I'd say, maybe 10 Eastern Standard Time. Over at Adrian's YouTube, not YouTube, Twitch channel, Depunked, of course, DEPUNKED. I'll try to put a link in the description. I always forget and just upload shit and do other things. I don't want you guys to know what I do around here, but it's sticky. Anyway, so we'll be talking about it in depth tomorrow. But right now, quick thoughts. I know we're 2.5 minutes in. Nothing about this is quick, so let's get to it. All right, so first conference, of course, and I'm going to count this even though technically it's not E3. I'm going to count it anyway, and that is the Summer Game Fest opening, which was, of course, Jeff Keighley's thing. A few really, really, really good things were shown at this conference. Of course, they have Death Stranding Director's Cut. They had the Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep 2, or what's called, I forgot, Wonderland? Yeah. Evil Dead looks great. Elden Ring, of course, which was the big thing, and we'll talk about Elden Ring later. But a bunch of stuff, and I felt like the show was thoroughly, it was paced pretty well. There was a lot of things in there that I was like, eh. There's a lot of sponsor breaks where Jeff Keighley had to say, like, oh, Amazon Prime Gaming. That stuff was a little slow. There was even a couple times where, like, talk to, maybe not developers, but just a little bit too much talking sometimes. But for the most part, I didn't mind that one at all, and it flew by pretty quick. It probably shouldn't have been like 90. I think it was almost 100 minutes. It probably didn't need to be that long, because there was a lot of stuff in there that didn't need to be shown again. There was some stuff that was already stuff we've seen before, or like it was a new trailer but not anything big was shown in it. But it was still a good conference. I'm gonna give that one a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna grade these. Did I mention that? Next one is the Wholesome Direct, which is a indie showcase that was very wholesome. People talking very quietly, very, very well mannered. Everybody was really happy to be there. It was jolly. A lot of really fun looking games. All of them being very indie. If you ask me right now to name a few of them, I'm not gonna lie. I probably can't. But it's been a few days since I watched it, of course, and there was a lot of really good stuff. I know for a fact it was, and just the whole personality was jolly, and they were sponsored by like a really, or no, they were backing a really good cause, and it was just a good time. It was only like 30 minutes, and they had a nice montage of a bunch of stuff too at the end, which I appreciate. Just give us quick little gameplay. Quick little montage. You can sell an indie game quicker than you can sell a AAA game. To me, at least, you can. Like, just show me some cute little things in a 10-second like window, and you can hook me. There's already a few games that I saw this year that were indie games that immediately I was hooked. You didn't even need to show me anymore, but of course they showed more because it was at other press conferences. We'll get to that, but I really liked it. Wholesome Direct. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was good. Next, Ubisoft Forward. They showed Rainbow Six Extraction. They didn't show Beyond Good and Evil 2. 0 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding. They showed Extraction, which looks fine. I don't play Rainbow Six. I felt like the game looked like how I think a lot of people assumed it would look. It just looks like Rainbow Six if you added aliens, which I have a feeling originally it wasn't supposed to be aliens, but maybe I'm wrong. Because the original thing was going to be, what was it called? It was called Quarantine, right? And what I saw here doesn't, like, it's just alien, like generic looking aliens. I don't understand why it would be quarantine. Like, you think a sickness, right? But I'm sure maybe they swapped it out because of course, what happened last year. And the aliens look almost swapped out. You know what I mean? Like, they look so generic, like they swapped them out in the span of like a few months. Maybe I'm wrong there. It just looks kind of generic. And there's so many games out there that look like this that are coming out. To be fair, though, Rainbow Six does have that strategy element, which is kind of unique. So you go in there, try to be quiet and stuff. You'll pew, pew, pew. But when it goes guns a blazing, it's going to be like a back for blood. A back for blood. I want to say Left 4 Dead so bad. Back for Blood, or even the Evil Dead game and stuff. I don't know, but yeah, it didn't really capture me. And also them showing the gameplay and showing how easy it is to defeat all the aliens and stuff. Probably wasn't the best idea. They showed some more Far Cry 6. They showed a nice cutscene. It was a pretty good, intense cutscene. They showed Mario Rabbids 2, which looks great. Avatar, which is cool. We'll see how it plays out when it comes out. But a lot of other stuff was kind of boring. I thought the Riders Republic stuff was kind of fun, but it went on maybe a little bit too long because you could show a minute of that and I'm hooked. I think they went on for maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Rainbow Six Siege, I just don't care. Like, it was just not well paced. I don't think. I really don't think it was. There was a lot of talking. Rocksmith was cool, but it was it was like 8 minutes of Rocksmith. I feel like it was a little bit too long for a lot of the stuff. You know, Rainbow Six was long, but I get it. They didn't really show it yet. And it's coming out in like 3 months. Got to show it. It was just like, it wasn't for me. So personally, it was a 5 out of 10. It is a 0 out of 10 in my heart because they didn't show Beyond Good and Evil 2. Yes, I do know it's not coming out for another few years. And yeah, I do know it's probably going to get fucking canceled. But please put it in the comments anyway, if you're even watching up to this point. Next was Devolver Digital's Max Pass Plus conference. Best thing I could say is that it gave me maybe my favorite quote of all E3. And that is, "That demon kissed my wife," or something. So right there, it's great. Also, the long takes were great. The games were bangers, all of them. Trek to Yomi looks great. Inscription looks great. Death's Door looks great. Every Wizard with a Gun looks great. Even Demon Throttle, which is what I just quoted, which is going to be a special reserve only game. It's only going to be physical. Look great. So everything they showed was great. I'm sure I'm missing a couple things. Shadow Warrior 3 looks great. Everything they showed looks unique and great. So when it comes to like video games, I think they probably had the best showing if you really consider it, because everything looked awesome. Everything looked like it could be like one of the best games of the year, especially Inscription and Trek to Yomi. Those, is it Yoma or Yomi? I feel bad. I'm probably saying it wrong, but that looked amazing. So yeah. Anyway, next was, I didn't grade it. 9 out of 10 for Devolver. Next was Gearbox. Gearbox showed Tiny Tina's Wonderland trailer again with a couple of still pictures of gameplay. That's supposed to come out next year. You'd think they would have had something to show, but they didn't. They had still pictures. Godfall for PS4. Yeah. Yeah. 10 out of 10. Upload VR is the next. No, I'm just kidding. Godfall on PS4. I'm not even fucking kidding. That was the most I reacted, I guess, to the press conference. Well, besides the constant telling us that Homeworld 3 is now in development, they told us that like 3 or 4 times. Just in case you didn't see it the first 2 or 3 times, they tell you a 4th time. It might have been only 3 times, but whatever. Yeah, I'm actually having a hard time thinking of what else they showed. What did they end it with? Oh, they ended with Kevin Hart being not kidnapped, but like just harassed by Randy Pitchford. Like, hey Kevin, talk about your character, and he's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great. And Kevin did a good job. And I mean, he's a comedian. He knows how to handle stupid shit like this. He's an actor too. He's in Hollywood. He knows how to handle stupid shit like this. I hated it. I really did. I did not like that press conference. I do like watching people's reactions to it though, because you can tell they're all like, ooh, it's gonna be shown, and then nothing's shown. They're like, anyway, 2 out of 10. Upload VR, a bunch of really cool VR games. None of them really spoke to me that much besides the first one, which I think was called Fracked. That one looked cool. You're on a ski, you're going skiing down a hill or whatever. Of course, these are all VR games, by the way. That's why it's called Upload VR. And you're shooting people. It looks like you're like a spy, maybe. It looked cool. A lot of the other ones look cool. Sam and Max look cool, but none of them like were like, oh, I'm lying. The Executioner game where you play as the Executioner, you cut the heads off. Definitely playing that. Never mind. But it was a decent little showcase. It was like maybe 25 minutes long, I think. Actually, it might have been longer. I don't remember. But it was decent. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Next is the Xbox/Bethesda showcase, which I thought was fantastic. Very, very well paced. Didn't spend too much time on each game, which I know some people will be like, I want to see more gameplay. Which is true. I do want to see more gameplay, but I love what Nintendo does, where they don't show the gameplay during their showcase, and then they do a separate thing, which is it's something I wish Xbox would do. And I know, like on normal E3s, Xbox would technically do that because they'd show some gameplay on like, like in closed doors or something or whatever. But not this year. But I wish Xbox would do their own little version of Treehouse, where it's like, all right, you saw this and that. These are of course far along. We didn't show you anything for it. Come later and you'll get to see gameplay. You know what I mean? But sadly that didn't really happen. So it was a lot of CG trailers and he had some gameplay ones here and there. But a lot of Game Pass. Game Pass was up. Was just it was there. Let's just say that it was fucking everywhere. And 27 games I think that were shown or talked about were Game Pass games. Big ones. Back for Blood's a Game Pass game. Starfield is going to be, of course, a Game Pass game, also Xbox exclusive. Outer Worlds 2 was announced. The less said about that, the better. Don't look at my reaction. Don't do it. What else? Just a bunch of really cool stuff. Redfall looks really dope. The Pirates of the Caribbean crossover with Sea of Thieves was really fun. Stalker 2 looks amazing. A lot of great looking games. So, and it was well paced. The only part that was like maybe a little too long was the Forza stuff, because we all know what Forza looks like, and they spent maybe about 8 or 9 minutes on that, which is fine. I get it. That's a big thing that Xbox has, and of course that's coming out very soon. But maybe a little bit too long. Halo even didn't have as long of a spot. I think it was only like 4 or 5 minutes. So. And Xbox, I mean, and Halo looked great. The cutscene made me intrigued in the story. What's going on with the new Cortana looking girl? And the multiplayer looked great. Freaking that grapple hook was sick. I'm excited for Xbox. I really am. Everything they showed, and shit, that wasn't everything they have too. They still have Perfect Dark and Fable and all these fucking games. I just can't wait to see these games. That's the thing. I want to see more stuff from Xbox when it comes to gameplay. But what they still show was good. And yeah, so. I'll give that one an 8.5. I thought it was great. Next is Square Enix. I felt like Square Enix was a bit of a disappointment because I was expecting them to rock it. But even saying that, they started off pretty strong with Guardians. My monitor just turned off. They started off very well with Guardians. They showed up like a lot of gameplay, and I know some people weren't really digging Guardians. I actually really liked it. I'm sorry for the glare on my glasses. Can't really help that. I should write down my notes instead of using this freaking thing. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Maybe get rid of this. And I got rid of a little bit of that. Move this over here. Maybe even move this a little bit. I can kind of remember my scores anyway. All right, so they started off with Guardians. I thought Guardians looked fun. I don't understand why you only play Star-Lord. I get that they wanted to focus mainly on Star-Lord, especially since he's the team leader. I get it, but I just don't understand why you still can't play as the other characters at certain points or whatever. You can only control them by telling them to do a move. I think it would open up a lot of different gameplay options. But I get it. I do like the story options you can make. Like you can make different choices. I think that was a really novel idea. Almost reminds me of the Telltale game, which to be fair, I never played, but I assume I mean, it's a Telltale game. I'm sure you make choices. I'm sure you only play a Star-Lord in that game. I could be wrong, but it was a good showing for Guardians. After that, they showed the Final Fantasy collection, which the less said about, I mean, yeah, the less said about that, the better. Really upsetting that it was only mobile and Steam. I only played a couple of those games. I never finished them. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, a pixel remaster. I was immediately, because I want everything to look like this. I wanted it to be 2D HD, but I'm like, there's no way they're going to 2D HD remake 6 games. But I was hopeful. But the pixel remaster is also the people like made a like comparisons, and it looks kind of, I don't know, like the remaster is less pixels, so there's less detail. At least that's what it looked like to me. I always want to play 6. I heard 6 is fucking phenomenal. I've heard 4 is fucking phenomenal too, though. I played most of 1 and 2. I just don't remember anything about 1. It's funny, like chaos was a thing during that Strangers of Paradise thing, which we'll talk about in a second. But I don't remember chaos at all. I never finished the first one, to be fair. But I got pretty far. I remember I played it on GBA. So when I had the 1 and 2 collection. Dawn of Souls? Is that what it was called? Was that the I have it here somewhere. Was that what it was called? I think I have it in box. Whatever. Was it Dawn of Souls, or is that a Yu-Gi-Oh game? I don't know. It sounds like it could be a Yu-Gi-Oh game. But of course, like I said, they ended it with the Stranger of Paradise, the Final Fantasy Origins, which has a lot of great quotes too. You're dust, you know, some great quotes. I haven't played the demo yet, but I've heard it's pretty good. Right before that, of course, they had Babylon's Fall, which I was actually kind of defending it for a little while because a lot of people were like, it doesn't look that great, but I'm like, it's platinum. I think it's gonna be good. Now I'm hearing it's like gonna be like a live service game, and what they showed was like, And speaking of voice acting, the voice acting in the Final Fantasy Origin game is over the top. Babylon's Fall is way above that. Like, it's good that they show Babylon's Fall before Final Fantasy Origin, because I was already at like peak absurdity when it comes to voice acting, and then going into Final Fantasy Origin, it was like, yeah, it's funny, but it's not Babylon's Fall ridiculous, because people were talking kind of like this in the Babylon's Fall trailer, and then you had one guy that was talking like this. I was like, fuck. All right. Nothing really great in between though. Like, I can't even remember a lot of stuff they show, and I remember just kind of being bored a couple times. Not a terrible show though. I still really like the beginnings and the end. So, and it wasn't very long. I think it was like 40 minutes. So the beginning is 15 minutes long. I enjoyed all of that, really. So I have to give it a 7 still. Even though it wasn't great, they still showed a couple of cool things, made a couple of announcements. So I still gotta give it a pretty good score. So 7 out of 10. Next is Limited Run Games, which had a great showing immediately. You could watch my reaction. I did not watch the beginning where they're like digging up. If you watch the Limited Run showcase, you know what I'm talking about. But they're like digging something up in the sand or whatever. Did not notice those two were from Mega 64, because I was still getting the stream ready. You could see in my reaction I'm like doing other things, so I'm not watching. And I'm glad I didn't, because immediately after that, the gags started happening and the weird editing. And I'm like, this feels like a Mega 64 video, because I watch a lot of Mega 64. But I was like, this feels like Mega 64. And then, of course, they're making all the announcements for physical games, which we'll get to the ending. A lot of them were really cool. Castlevania, of course, Rondo of Blood, and Symphony of the Night was really cool. Rondo of Blood coming to the Turbo Duo. That's really cool. But there's a bunch of other really cool stuff, too. Hunt Down, I already bought that because that went up. And I heard that game's great. And that collector's edition was dope. I love that action figure. But really cool physical stuff they announced. But the whole vibe of it was really funny. I like Devolver was really funny, don't get me wrong. But I thought Limited Run was actually funnier. The only reason why I would give Devolver probably the same score I'm going to give Limited Run Games, which is a 9 out of 10, is because Devolver actually announced games. And Devolver had a lot of really cool filmmaking there. I really like the long takes and stuff, and the explosions with the woman actually like kind of take like not flinching too much and stuff, and having to go through it. If you watch the Devolver thing, you know what I'm talking about. I really like that, and also just the weirdness of it. But the Limited Run Games one is just my type of humor. I love that, just like people getting cut off and stuff, and just there's that one part where someone's saying like something stupid, and then someone just goes to end this bit. He's like, all right, it just cuts to the next world premiere. It's so good. I love it. It's so Mega 64. And then when Rocco showed up, I was like, it is Mega 64. Because I didn't hear ahead of time that he was working on it at all. And I didn't watch the beginning where I saw you see Frank and Ryan. So it was really cool. Not Frank, I'm sorry, Kevin. Excuse me. Frank is another character. Character. They're all characters. Great show. I loved it. I really did. That is tied with my favorite showcases. And both of them that are my favorite showcases are ones that are more comedic. So, hey, be more funny, Nintendo and Microsoft. What can I tell you? Next is Capcom. Capcom really disappointed me. I thought they were going to show some good shit. And I'm so glad I never did a predictions video because I wrote it out. And yeah, it didn't work out. They showed not much, almost nothing. They showed the Great Ace Attorney, which is great. I can't wait for that. But they showed that. All right, sorry, I had to pause it real quick. I should have got a drink because my voice is getting raspy. I got nothing. Oh, I got a little drip. Ooh, I hope that don't quench me for the next, like, however long this video will be. I'm getting close to the end. Anyway, Capcom showed Great Ace Attorney, which looks great, don't get me wrong, but I was very excited for it. I was going to buy it anyway, so I didn't need to see any more of it. Honestly, I wish I didn't see any more of it, because going into that would have been really cool to, oh, 2 new mechanics I never used in an Ace Attorney game, but now I know about the mechanics, and I like the mechanics, but whatever. The other thing they showed was Monster Hunter Stories 2, which, to be fair, actually looks great. That game looks really good on Switch. And the gameplay looks fun too. I'm not a big Monster Hunter guy. And really that's the only 2 games they showed, because the other thing they showed was Resident Evil Village. They didn't show shit. They showed a trailer for a game that's been out for a month, and then they said DLC is in development. Why was DLC not in development before? From what I heard, Resident Evil 7 DLC didn't do all that great. But like, why not? I don't understand. Like fucking. I don't know. I just don't understand why it wasn't like at least give us something more. I don't know. I don't know. That one's a little weird, but I wish they just didn't even say anything. And didn't even have Resident Evil Village there. So they didn't have much. It was kind of a waste of time, honestly. Them even saying anything about Resident Evil Village. Oh, they also mentioned Reverse, which I think they said next month it's coming. By that time, no one will remember what Reverse is. It looks shitty. I'll probably play it just for a gag, like funny Reverse, but it looks shit. Rather play Dead by Daylight, honestly, the Resident Evil crossover. Yeah, it wasn't great. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. Not as bad as Gearbox, because Gearbox was actually insulting. At least Capcom showed some of their games, where Gearbox barely fucking did. Yeah. Next was Nintendo Direct. Of course, this is the last one, because Bandai Namco wasn't really a press conference or a showcase, so I'm not even going to talk about that one. I didn't put the Back 4 Blood one here either, because they're both of those, Back 4 Blood and the Bandai Namco, were all about one game, so I'm not going to put them here. That's like rating a game trailer, you know, that's pretty much what it was. This one was fantastic. I love the Nintendo Direct. I almost want to give it a 9 out of 10, but I'm gonna give it 8.5 because there is a couple things that like you didn't really need a show. Like, don't get me wrong, Strange Brigade, cool. Doom Eternal Part 1, I don't know why that wasn't there to begin with. I know it took a little while to probably develop that for the Switch. So I get it. I mean, it's been 6 months though since it came out on Switch, so I don't know. That should have been part 2 that got announced, but who knows? I mean, it's COVID times. I get it. I shouldn't even have said that. But there's a couple things that was just like whatever, and I would have loved to see more of Breath of the Wild 2. I'm actually surprised we got Breath of the Wild 2, but I would have loved to see a little bit more of that. But what they showed was great. New Metroid, Advance Wars is back. Are you fucking kidding me? What? Fatal Frame's back. Like the Zelda little Game & Watch is great. Kazuya and Smash. Like what they showed was all great. New WarioWare, new Mario Party. everything they showed was great for the most part. Everything that excited me was great. WarioWare, I'm a little iffy on actually thinking about it because I'm like I don't really like the characters being on screen and doing the stuff because that's not WarioWare to me. Like I feel like it adds a little extra something to think about while you're playing WarioWare. Where WarioWare should just be quick and just go. You know what I mean? But now you have to think, oh, where's my character? Oh, now I have to move him. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? WarioWare is just like quick, like put the finger on the nose. You know, oh, store up your booger. Like I don't know. I haven't played the last couple WarioWare games, so maybe those ones got a little more complicated, but I heard those ones aren't great. I heard Gold was okay, but the one before that on the Wii U, I heard that was embarrassing. I heard it was shit. I also hear it's a very rare game now, so but everything they showed was great for the most part, you know. Even the things that kind of Monkey Ball too. I forgot to put that reaction up. Actually, Monkey Ball was cool. I liked everything they showed. I really did like pretty much everything they showed. And it was short. It was 40 minutes long, and they did a great job of showing a lot of stuff. I would have liked to see less filler and maybe more stuff that was interesting in that filler, you know. But and also I would have liked to see more Breath of the Wild, but I'm gonna give it 8.5. Honestly, I'm thinking about 9, but I'm gonna stick with an 8.5. And overall, E3 2021 as a whole, I'm gonna give a 6 out of 10. The reason why I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10, I know this is probably like, whoa, 6 out of 10, what? It was a little disappointing. I was still expecting it to not be great because, you know, last year we didn't have E3 and we're still working through COVID. But so many companies decided to do a thing that they didn't need to do. Even though I still liked the Square Enix one and I didn't mind like some of the other ones, you didn't need to do a showcase. You really didn't. And I'm glad they were there. It was still fun to stream them, but you didn't need to do one. Like really, you didn't. And I'm really upset Sony didn't do something. I'm sure they have some stuff to show. Like even if it's for games that are coming out soon. Like Ghostwire is supposed to come out soon. Deathloop, I know we saw a lot of. Kina, these are games that we can see. I know they have stuff done for God of War that they could show. Hell, I wouldn't even mind seeing some more Horizon. They should have saved that Horizon thing for a showcase around this time. Have that be the ender and then have a bunch of cool stuff before. I would have been happy. You know, they could have even said like, this is a small, or even like save it for the end of the month. So it's away from E3. You don't have as huge expectations. And you can even bring it up like a few surprises and Horizon gameplay. They could have said that, you know? But I don't know. I was a little disappointed, but I was about right where I expected. Like I was expecting a 7 out of 10, but I got a 6 out of 10. So I'm a little disappointed, but I'm still close to where I was expecting it to be. Didn't have a bad time. Still had a good time. But it was a little disappointing. So I went on way longer than I thought I would because, you know, I like to fucking talk. So we'll do the top 10, but this is going to be quick. And maybe I'll explain it more so in the podcast, but and I have honorable mentions here. So real quick, honorable mentions. Trek to Yoma or Yomi. I wrote that. I think it's Yomi. I should have looked it up. I don't know why the fuck I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. But Trek to Yomi is definitely there. Looks so good. I love it. I even put Inscription here, even though I will never play that game because it looks terrifying. So whatever. I didn't talk about this earlier in the limited run thing because I want to talk about it here. Plumbers don't wear ties. Honorable mention. I almost made it my number 10 as a funny thing, but I'm serious. That blew my mind. Plumbers don't wear ties is getting a physical fucking release in 2021. What? Hello? Are you there? It's me, God. Anyway. Plumbers don't wear ties. I'm not even a joke. Atomic Heart. They did show a little bit of this game. I wish they showed more. If they showed more, then it would be in my top 10. But they only showed a little bit. It was like a minute trailer. It was a good trailer, but I wish they showed more. Stranger of Paradise. Of course, I haven't played the demo yet, so that could have maybe besweetched me a little bit. Is that a word? Whatever. Besweet? Whatever. That could have made me a little bit more excited, but Stranger of Paradise isn't there. Mario Rabbids 2, they didn't show a lot of gameplay, and I still have yet to finish the first one, so that's only honorable mentions. And Metal Slug Tactics looks really good. The only reason why that's not in my top 10 is because of another tactics game that's coming out that's gonna probably fill that hole that is missing in my soul that was left by Advance Wars. I wonder what game I'm talking about. All right, so quickly, top 10. Number 10, Number 10, Guardians of the Galaxy. Looked really fun. I'm excited for it. Number 9, Breath of the Wild sequel. They didn't show enough for me to put it higher on my list, but it's looking great either way. Number 8, Replaced. What a amazing looking game. I love the look of this game. I'm so in. Looks fresh. I'm in. Number 7, Evil Dead the game. What a showing. This looks awesome. Like, legitimately good. So I'm excited for that. Number 6 is Stalker 2. Never played the original Stalker, but this game looks intense as hell, gorgeous, and might actually have a little bit of heart to it too, because it looks like you palling around with your friends. Some of them were like kind of fun, so we'll see. Actually, I thought it was gonna be way more serious, but this trailer was actually kind of fun, in a dark and scary way. Number 5, Halo Infinite. Love the multiplayer stuff. Love that cutscene. Thought they did a great job. Number 4, Metroid Dread. Which, I mean, come on. New fucking Metroid from the guys that made Samus Returns. I know some people don't like Mercury Steam. I do. I like Samus Returns. I'm excited for this. Number 3, Battlefield 2042. What an amazing trailer. Holy shit. I'm so in. You got me. Number 2, Advance Wars 1 and 2. I can't wait to play these games again. It's been a long time. And when they showed that, I was like, whoa. Are you fucking kidding me? That actually blew my mind. Like, after thinking about it, like, my reaction, I don't remember how I reacted, but, like, thinking about it after, I'm like, whoa. That is insane. And number 1, Elden Ring. I am not a Souls-like guy or Souls fan pretty much at all. Like, I loved 2, but I never finished it. And then the other ones I played maybe up to 10 hours of each. But this looks amazing. I love the art style. Love the way it looks. It's looking fantastic. It's one of my most anticipated games now. So number 1 is Elden Ring, unsurprisingly. So there you go. That is my top 10, and that is my review of the entirety of E3. I know it went on for 30 minutes, but I rambled a lot. But you know what? I hope you enjoyed it either way. Let me know what your favorite games you saw at E3 2021 was, and yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys later. E3 2022, will it be better? I have a feeling it will be. There'll be a lot of shit to show next year, that's for sure. All these fucking delays and all these Xbox games that still have no gameplay. I'm hoping we're going to see something. God damn.